All right, all right. So while we got black people in the building, while we got black relationships, that could be friendships, that could be marriages, that could be just boyfriend and girlfriend. Um, I brung some marriage counselors here. All right, Cher and Demetrius, and they here to kind of fill the room with positive energy. I know a lot of black love is lost nowadays. Like there's so much toxicity going on. It's a lot of toxic relationships, man. I do want to shout out my wife right here. We've been married for 7 years. Been together for about how long? 17 years. I'm 33 now, but since we was 15, shit. It's different. I know a lot of people can't make it that long, but it's possible. You know what I'm saying? We got 4 kids. You know, I haven't had no outside kids. She ain't had no outside kids. All together. All right. But you know, besides me saying that, some of y'all already know that. But I want to bring in some professionals that really know about this. You know what I'm saying? So give it up for Cher and Demetrius, and they're gonna, you know, talk good. All right. So I'm gonna start off with the first question. Why is the divorce rate so high in the black community?
Well, I think number one reason is, especially for African Americans, our concept about counseling. Counseling just being something that makes you crazy if you're going to counseling. And because we have that stigma, a lot of times we find that people who are in trouble, they wait to they almost done before they even attempt to get counseling.
Right. It's like when they come to our office, the problems went from a molehill to a mountain. So now it's a buildup, and we're trying to talk them off the edge because all of a sudden marriage doesn't look good because they haven't addressed the issues, the red flags. And so, you know, we got to get past that stigma of saying we can't go get some help. You're not crazy. You're not a punk. If you decide that our marriage is in trouble, let's get some help. You got to get the help. You got to get knowledge in order to help you to resolve some of the issues. So that's why one of the reasons divorce rates are so high is because couples wait too late. And then they have started this negative comparison looking at alternative options. And then they find themselves slipping into other alternative options. And now it's just for them in their mindset, this is unsalvageable. But one thing Demetrius and I say all the time, any marriage can be lost and any marriage can be saved.
Men. Any men in here? Men. Boy, oh man.
Real talk. Go ahead.
Right. Men. All right, there we go. We, as black African men, we have to get this phrase out of our mindsets about allowing people to be in our business. Now, there are a lot of people that want to get in our business that we don't need to have in our business, like family. But there are professionals out here that's going to look at your relationship from an objective place, from a non-judgmental place, that can give you the tools that you need in order to be successful in your relationship. And a lot of times, because we don't want people in our business, we don't get the help that we need. Is that true? Okay, keep it real. We're here on this podcast. Let's keep it real. So a lot of times, any relationship, just not black love, we struggle because pride get in the way and we don't get the help that we need. Oh, yeah. Oh, listen, everybody brings baggage into a relationship. Sometimes we bring little bags.
Sometimes big
Sometimes
bags.
we bring the whole trailer full of past junk, past hurt, past traumas, not just past relationship traumas, but childhood traumas. A lot of us got mama issues, a lot of us got daddy issues, and we bring those things into relationships. They impact relationships negatively a lot of times.
Yeah, I ain't gonna get clinical with you, but we call those attachment injuries. So you got to deal with those injuries in order for you to heal, so you can be able to develop a healthy relationship. Because if you're not okay, then your spouse or the one that you want to spend your life with is not going to be okay, because you're going to be transferring everything onto them. Not good.
Yeah. And a lot of times, because we don't want to be alone, we look for that validation in relationships. We jump into relationships too quickly. We haven't even healed. The dirt ain't even dry on a relationship before we ready to jump into another relationship. And again, we bring that baggage. If you've been cheated on, if you've been hurt, then guess what? You're going to do everything in your power not to get hurt like that. And when you do that, you put up walls, right? Hurt people, hurt people. That's right. That's right.
All right, with that being said, what is the recipe to keeping a long distance, not long distance, keeping a long-term relationship going? Like how can these people, our black people, it's more so our black people, like how can we stay married? How can we stay in relationships till we get to that point if you don't be down for marriage? Like how do we stay together and be strong all the way through?
Having a healthy, whole relationship or marriage, it takes work. And a lot of times we as individuals are not willing to put the work in that's necessary to be successful in a relationship. And it starts with looking in the mirror. You know, when I talk about that baggage, I'm responsible for my baggage. Now, she can play a role in helping me deal with some of the stuff, but ultimately it starts with me. And we all, and I'm talking about men, women, we all have insecurities. And those insecurities cause us to interact with people sometimes in unhealthy ways. We become overly dependent on a person, or we become so independent, it's like, why are we even in a relationship? But a lot of that is founded because of our insecurities. And when we bring those things into a relationship and don't deal with them adequately, we get the new relationship started on the wrong foot.
So let's give them some key principles. So this is our expertise. We humble, we give God the glory, but we work with a lot of couples, and we've been doing this for a long time. And so one thing that we know, and this research found, and this is what we really, really want to just stress to you guys about, is because knowledge is power. We do a lot of marriage intensives, couples that are in crisis, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times that we do it, we are in a room with a lot of Caucasians. And a lot of times Demetrius and I will be like, man, if only us would get the information. If only they would invest in their marriage, they would not be in this place. Or if they're in this place, they know how to work themselves out of this place. So here's some here's some key principles that we found that works. So when you think about home ownership, having a home, right? You don't look at it as temporary, correct? You look at it as maintenance. You've invested in buying this property. And so now, because you bought this property, there has to be some maintenance. You want to put some upkeep in your house, right? So 7 key principles that we found that really works is having a love map, a foundation of knowing who you're married to, understanding them inside and out, having an inner access to their world. That's important because that fosters a good friendship. That fosters intimacy. Into me, see? So I need to know who I'm married to.
Yeah, a lot of times we get in relationships so quick we don't even know the people. I found you on was it Plenty of Fish?
POH.
Yeah, Plenty of Fish and
POF.
all these other dating
POF.
sites. Now, I'm not going to bash those things, but
We
you
rush
have
into
to
it.
spend some time getting to know somebody. Just because our stuff line up don't necessarily mean we compatible. You know, we have to see when we tried and tested, when the conflicts come, how we deal with those things. How do you as an individual deal with conflicts? So knowing your spouse, knowing the person that you want to spend time with, truly getting to know them. Tell me about your past. Tell me of friendships and intimate things that nobody else knows. As a couple, we need to know those things about each other.
So I want to go back a little bit for your singles and for engaged. We talked about preventative, about trying not to get to the place where we're now divorced or entertaining some other alternative actions. One thing that you need to do is counseling. Premarital counseling. That's how you find out who you're really getting ready to be a life partner with. You got to know the expectations. See, a lot of people, Dee talked about these baggages. A lot of people just take the baggages, come into the house, and then just try to sort it. And then everything's a mess. No. Beforehand, you got to say, okay, what needs to go in the closet, what needs to go in the drawers? Because everything don't go in the closet, right? So premarital counseling is very important when it comes to really knowing what we're getting ourselves into, because marriage should be a life commitment, a covenant, not the mentality that a lot of people have is it's a contract. When I'm done with you, I'm done. Nah, we got to work through these things. So let's, okay, second principle, because we got to keep going.
So number 2 is we want to build a culture of fondness and admiration.
Right.
Basically respect. A lot of times in our relationships, we begin, when pain starts hitting us, we begin showing disrespect to each other. And we lose that fondness, that warm feeling when I think about you. See, you got to have a culture where you feel as an individual accepted in this relationship. And when we're disrespecting each other on all levels, little disrespects, great disrespects, we lose that.
Right. Third principle is positive perspective. Being able to see yourselves as, like we call ourselves, we brand ourselves, we the dynamic duo. So as a couple, you need to brand yourself. Who are you representing? You need to represent God. You need to represent the people that you're around because they're watching you. You can be a testimony to somebody who their light has dimmed. They don't look at marriage as being something that's wonderful and beautiful. So it's important to have a positive perspective on how you view your marriage, how you honor your marriage. And not only that, if you guys have kids, guess what? Your kids are modeling after you. So what you demonstrate to them, most likely if they don't have any good information, they're going to repeat the same thing, and their spouse is going to have the same tendencies that they saw between you two.
So real quick, I want you to think about somebody who you have a relationship. It don't have to be romantic. How do you interact with them when you're thinking about them positively? How do you interact with them when you think about them negatively? Take about 5 seconds just to think about that. When I got a positive perspective about somebody, I smile. Hey, how you doing? When I got a negative mindset about somebody, what's up? So that's very important in your relationship, because when I think about her from a negative perspective, I'm mean. I'm only thinking about myself. But when I have that positive regard for her, then I think about her more, what she needs.
All right, so we on 5, right?
4.
4.
Conflict
Management. Okay, so we have to be honest. No couple is exempt from conflict. You can be the healthiest. You can be the, we call them master couples. But y'all gonna have conflict. If any healthy couple stand before you and say, we're all good, nothing's wrong, we're just perfect, they're either in denial or they're lying. Because we are a really healthy couple, but we still have conflict. There's times I do not like him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But here's the difference between a master couple and a disaster couple. A master couple knows how to manage through conflict. So when we manage through conflict, we sit there and we try to work things out so we can come to some type of resolve. We don't let things build up, or we don't come against each other. Like he's my enemy. No, we allies. It's us against the problem. That's another thing our motto is. When couples need to know about having to have a successful, strong marriage, you got to look at it as us against the problem. Whatever problem that is. So you just got to learn how to manage through conflict healthy. A lot of us don't know how to manage through it. We either avoid, we either fight, or we don't do nothing. And neither one of those are healthy to manage through conflict.
Good stuff. Master couples, they care to repair. So when you think about relationships, it don't matter what type of relationship, if you're not willing to make it right, that's a problem. And especially in a romantic relationship, I'm mad at you, so I'm going to wait on you. Well, guess what? If I'm waiting on you, you waiting on me, where we going?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Someone got to be the bigger person.
Yeah. Somebody got to be the bigger person.
Number 4?
Yeah, we on number 5
we on number
now.
5?
Yes.
All right.
Number 5.
Okay, so
turning towards.
Thank you. Yes, you're correct. So number 5 is turning towards each other than away. A lot of times we tell couples in a healthy marriage to always check your jersey. Teamwork make the dream work. We on the same team. You know, a lot of times when there's hurt, we tend to turn away from each other rather than towards each other. And then that's where problems begin to ensue. So it's really important just to know we got to turn towards each other and fight this fight, because 2 heads are better than 1. Yeah, you offended me. Yeah, I could have some choice words for you, but what's that going to do? Are we going to live in a house where there's tension and unfulfillment? No. Let's work it together because we are one.
Yeah. Turning towards, right. We want to work to build a connection. A lot of times relationship breakups say, we just not connected. Well, you're not connected because you're missing those opportunities to connect. If we driving down the street and I say, oh, baby, look at that. But like my man said, she just in her phone and she don't even hear me or just disregard it. That's a missed opportunity to connect. And we start doing that in every area of our relationship, then we do feel disconnected. And neglected. And rejected. So we don't turn towards those bids for connection. We turn against them.
Correct.
Number 6.
Number 6 is shared meaning. You know, creating values and goals together. I said earlier, team makes the dream work. A successful marriage is looking at us as partnerships. It's us against the world. So we allow our visions, our dreams, our hopes, our aspirations as a couple to support each other and to make those dreams come true. That's what's important when it comes to shared meaning, that we understand that what he has in his heart, I'm going to be his cheerleader. I'm going to be his biggest fan and make sure that I run this race with him. What I have in my heart, he going to do the same. Even if it doesn't match up, we can always have some type of support for each other. That's creating values, goals. A lot of times in black marriages, that gets lost, and we really need to get back to that. We lost our values. We lost our goals about how important marriage is, because marriage is important. Relationships is important. We can't keep letting our kids live in single-parent homes and continuing to see the dysfunction because we're not getting it together.
Yeah. And it's important that you identify, what is this relationship represent? You know, we just ain't together just to be together. What's the meaning behind it? What's the purpose behind this union? And a lot of times, like Cher said, we have lost the big picture. You know, we get married to impact our family, our friends, our communities. And a lot of times we look at relationships as just something that we doing. And it's so much more than that. So we have to find value in our marriages and our relationships as they're growing. And then finally,
make the dream work.
Make life dreams come true. What we find is when couples are working together to help each other meet their life goals, marriages go better. And when you know the direction, the path that you want to be going in, and your spouse is helping you to achieve those things, you draw closer. there's more intimacy, there's more closeness, there's more connection.
So those are the 7 principles that we can give you. Another thing is just to always keep God first. He got to be your center. And no matter what, you guys have to have each other's back. That's what's going to keep your relationship solid and strong. Not only that, sex is good too. So make sure you're doing all that as well. You know that's true.
I know it.
All right, give it up for Cher and Demetrius, y'all. Go ahead, hey, baby. Appreciate y'all, man.
Hey, real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. One of the things about us, we are one of the only African American counseling couples. We counsel people in relationships. So if you're just in a relationship, if you're married, if you don't know if you want to be married, come find us. Dynamic Marriage St. Louis on Facebook.
And our agency is Christian Psychological and Family Service. That's Christian Psychological Family Services. We're here in St. Louis. We made a transition to Texas, but we're keeping our agency open, so we're doing both. So we can still do virtual, we do face-to-face, but our goal is to help build strong, healthy marriages. People need to see us in having strong marriages with love, not just unfulfilled marriages, blah marriages, but strong, happy marriages.
All right. Make sure y'all, they're going to be sitting right here for a second, so make sure y'all get the information if you need it. Thanks again, Cher and Demetrius.